Imagine you're just starving yourself for like 3 months straight.
Oh, yeah. The classic fitness misery.
Right. You push through the hunger, you step on the scale, and boom, you finally see that magical target number. You hit your goal weight.
Best feeling in the world, right? Until
Or
you look in the mirror.
exactly. You look in the mirror and you don't actually look fit. You just look like a smaller, somewhat softer version of your previous self.
Which is so demoralizing.
It really is. And the harsh biological reality of that, your body literally just ate its own muscle to survive the famine you forced it through.
It is the single most common tragedy in fitness. Seriously, people fight so hard against their own biology, grinding themselves into the ground,
Mm-hmm.
only to end up with a degraded metabolism and a totally compromised physique.
Well, today we are dismantling that entire scenario.
Yeah.
We're tearing down the outdated diet dogma you've probably been fed for years.
Long overdue, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Welcome to today's deep dive, by the way. We're geeking out over Fitness Knowledge Base Module 4 today.
Such a good module, packed with actual science.
Yes. And our mission today is to break down the evidence-based mechanics of getting fit without, destroying your soul in the process.
Love that.
And we're going to prove to you that how you finish a diet actually matters infinitely more than how you start it. So, okay, let's unpack this, starting with a concept that social media has completely hijacked.
Oh, boy. The flexible diet.
Right, because if you scroll online right now, flexible dieting just looks like influencers eating donuts and claiming it's for their health.
Right, the social media distortion is just wild. People see the word flexible and interpret it as a free pass to eat junk all day long.
Like, as long as it fits some arbitrary calorie limit, you're fine.
Exactly, but that's not it at all. When we look at the actual evidence-based framework for Module 4, true flexible dieting is fundamentally grounded in science and long-term sustainability.
Okay, so it's not just an excuse to eat pizza every night.
No, definitely not. It's a psychological and physiological shift away from moralizing.
The moralizing, yeah.
Right. For decades, diet culture told us foods were either good or bad. If you eat broccoli, you're a good person.
And if you eat a cookie, you've sinned and ruined your entire diet.
Exactly. Flexible dieting asks you to completely remove that moral judgment. Instead, you look at food purely based on its net thermodynamic and structural impact on your body composition.
Whoa, okay. Net thermodynamic and structural impact.
Yeah.
I want to pause there because getting rid of the guilt changes the entire game for you.
It really does. It frees you.
Right, like a slice of pizza doesn't make you a failure. It's just biological math.
Yeah.
The thermodynamics are the calories, right? The energy value.
Yep, exactly.
And the structural impact is the macronutrients. So the protein, the fats, the carbs. It's really just data for your body to process.
It's just data. And when you stop moralizing the data, you can actually start managing it effectively.
Which makes so much sense.
And that brings us to the core mechanism of fat loss, which is the calorie deficit. To lose fat, the math dictates you absolutely must consume less energy than you expend.
Right, basic thermodynamics.
But the critical error people make is completely ignoring the concept of the optimal calorie deficit.
Because the instinct is always, well, if a 300-calorie deficit is good, a 1,000-calorie deficit will get me to the beach 3 times faster.
Which is a biological disaster.
A disaster.
Totally. The human body is naturally resistant to maintaining muscle mass during an extended energy deficit.
Yeah.
Muscle tissue is incredibly expensive.
Like it takes a lot of calories just to keep it around.
Exactly. It requires a massive amount of energy just to exist. Fat, on the other hand, is an inert storage unit. It takes almost zero energy to keep fat on your body.
Okay, I'm picturing an analogy here.
Right.
Let's say your body is a company, okay, and a calorie deficit is a sudden financial crisis.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So revenue is dropped. If
Yeah.
it's a controlled, moderate crisis, like an optimal deficit, the company looks around and says, okay, let's just sell off those cheap old storage boxes sitting in the warehouse.
Which is burning fat.
Right? That's burning fat. It's a measured, safe response. But if you slash your calories aggressively, the company is suddenly facing total bankruptcy.
It panics.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
panics. It doesn't bother with the storage boxes. It liquidates its most expensive, high-performing assets just to survive. It fires the top-tier sales team.
Wow. Yeah.
And in your body, those expensive assets are your muscles.
What's fascinating here is how perfectly that captures the biological panic of a steep deficit.
Right. It just makes sense.
It does, because when you enforce a deficit that is too aggressive, you literally force the body to mobilize muscle protein for energy.
Ugh, it eats itself.
It breaks down its own structural tissue just to keep your organs functioning.
Right.
And the consequence of that panic is twofold.
Okay, what's the first one?
First, you degrade your metabolic rate. You've just fired the tissue that burns the most calories, remember?
Right. The sales team is gone, so the company is making even less money now.
Exactly. And second, you end up with that soft physical finish we talked about.
Which goes right back to the scenario we opened with. You hit the goal weight, but you look soft.
Because you survived the bankruptcy, but your company is a shell of what it used to be.
You ruined your body composition.
Precisely. So the obvious question becomes, how do we navigate a calorie deficit without triggering that biological panic?
Right. How do we convince the body to keep the expensive muscle and only burn the cheap fat?
Which requires strategy, not just willpower. The research in Module 4 outlines a system of tactical deviations.
Okay, tactical deviations.
Ah.
But before we get into what those are, I feel like we have to slay a massive dragon in the fitness world.
Oh, I know what you're
Get to kill the concept of the cheat meal.
We absolutely do. The term cheat meal comes from old school bodybuilding subcultures, and it just carries this massive counterproductive emotional weight.
Yeah, the very word cheat implies you're doing something illicit,
It implies guilt.
and it traps you right back in that moralizing mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If you cheated, you broke the rules.
Yeah.
And what happens when someone feels guilty?
They spiral.
Exactly, they spiral. You think, well, I already ruined my diet with this burger on Friday night, so I might as well eat the entire pantry, order wings on Saturday, and just start over on Monday.
It creates a vicious binge-restrict cycle. That's why an evidence-based framework throws the cheat meal entirely out the window.
Good riddance.
Right. Instead, we use planned nutritional deviations that have specific biological purposes. You aren't cheating, you are executing a strategy.
I love that.
And the first of these tools is the refeed.
Okay, let's get into the mechanics of refeeds, because this is where the biology gets really interesting. What actually is a refeed, and how is it different from just, a weekend binge?
So, a refeed is a structured short-term period, usually 1 to 2 days, where you intentionally bring your calorie intake back up to your maintenance level.
Okay, so you're eating more, but not an unlimited amount.
Right, just up to maintenance. But here is the crucial distinction. That increase in calories is driven primarily by carbohydrates. You aren't just eating more butter and bacon.
You are targeting carbs.
But wait, why carbohydrates specifically? Because I thought the whole diet industry was built on demonizing carbs.
Oh, they do. But scientifically, it's because of two distinct physiological mechanisms, glycogen and leptin.
Okay, break those down for us.
So glycogen is simply the stored form of carbohydrates in your muscles. When you diet and train hard, you deplete those stores.
Right, you're running on empty.
Exactly. A high-carb refeed packs that glycogen back into the muscle, giving you the actual energy to keep training intensely.
That makes sense.
But more importantly, carbohydrates have a unique impact on leptin.
Leptin is the starvation hormone, right?
Basically, yeah. Leptin is a hormone produced by your fat cells that tells your brain how much energy you have overall.
Okay.
When you are in a deficit for a prolonged period, your leptin levels just plummet. Your brain senses this drop and sounds the alarm.
It thinks you're starving. Yes. So it slows down your metabolism, increases your hunger cues, and fiercely tries to hold on to fat. But by implementing a high-carbohydrate refeed, you temporarily spike those leptin levels back up.
So you're essentially tricking your brain.
You are.
It's like if a long-term diet is a grueling endurance car race, a refeed isn't you quitting the race, it's a strategic pit stop.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you temporarily pull the car over to put premium fuel carb into the tank. You top off the glycogen, you boost the leptin so the engine doesn't stall out, you give the driver a mental breath, and then you pull right back onto the track running faster than before.
I really love that pit stop analogy. It emphasizes that it's calculated. You don't stay in the pit stop forever, and you definitely don't fill the tank with sludge.
Right. But what happens if that endurance race goes on for months? Because a one-day pit stop isn't going to fix the deep, accumulated fatigue of a super long diet.
Right. If you've been driving for 12 weeks, you need more than a quick tire change.
You need an overhaul.
That's where the second tool comes in, the diet break.
Ooh, the diet break.
Yeah. A diet break is a longer intervention, typically lasting 1 to 2 weeks, spent entirely at maintenance calories right in the middle of a fat loss phase.
Okay, I have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Because if you are listening to this right now and you are 6 weeks deep into a cut, fighting for every single pound.
It sounds scary.
It sounds terrifying. The idea of eating at maintenance for 2 solid weeks. The instinct is, I'm going to lose all my momentum, I'm going to gain weight, this is a terrible idea.
That fear is incredibly common. But the biology says the exact opposite. Diet breaks are essential for mitigating metabolic adaptation and lowering chronic cortisol.
Okay, cortisol is your primary stress hormone.
Right. And make no mistake, an extended calorie deficit is a massive stressor on the human body.
Because evolutionarily, your body doesn't know you're trying to look good for a wedding. It literally thinks you're in a famine.
Exactly. It thinks you are dying. And when cortisol stays chronically elevated for weeks on end, your body reacts defensively. It retains massive amounts of water, which completely masks your fat loss on the scale. But worse, high cortisol actively promotes the breakdown of muscle tissue.
So we're back to the company firing the sales team.
Yes. Taking a 1 to 2 week break at maintenance calories signals to your body that the famine is over.
Oh, I see.
It lowers that stress response, drops the water weight, and preserves your metabolic rate.
So it's like letting an overheated engine completely cool down so it doesn't blow a gasket.
Perfectly said.
It feels like a delay, but it actually ensures you finish the race at all.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the third tactical tool, carbohydrate cycling. How does this one fit in?
Carb cycling is a much more granular daily strategy. It involves alternating between high, moderate, and low carbohydrate days, specifically mapped to your training volume.
Okay, so what's the goal there?
The goal is to optimize how your body utilizes glycogen on a day-to-day basis.
So it's matching the fuel to the demand. Like, if Wednesday is a brutal heavy leg day, that's my high carb day because my muscles physically need that energy to perform and recover.
Right.
But if Sunday is just, a light walk and watching football on the couch, I cycle down to low carbs because the demand just isn't there.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what refeeds, diet breaks, and carb cycling really do is build profound psychological and physiological resilience.
Wow.
You are no longer blindly starving yourself and just hoping for the best. You are actively navigating your metabolism.
You're in control.
Yes, you are giving your body the exact biological signals it needs exactly when it needs them.
It puts you completely in the driver's seat, which is super empowering.
It really is.
But as empowering as all of this is, we are now entering the most dangerous territory of this entire conversation.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Because here's the ultimate plot twist that, 90% of people completely miss. The physical transformation does not end when you hit your target weight.
No, it doesn't. And that is the most devastating misconception in the fitness industry. We put all of our mental energy into the finish line of the diet.
Right, crossing the tape.
But the reality is, the transition phase, how you exit a diet, is the most critical component of the entire journey.
So crucial.
It dictates whether you keep your results for the rest of your life, or if you rebound and destroy all your progress in a matter of weeks.
Ugh, the rebound. It is so heartbreaking. Someone diets hard, they use the diet breaks, they hit their goal weight, they look incredible. And
when they lose it.
3 weeks later, they've gained every single pound back, plus extra. Why is that weight gain so rapid? Why does it come back faster than it came off?
It's because of how highly sensitized your body becomes after restriction. When you are exiting a deficit, what we call the post-cut phase, your body is in a deeply vulnerable state.
Vulnerable how?
Well, even if you did everything right, your metabolism has slowed down slightly. But more importantly, your fat cells are essentially screaming for energy.
So they are biologically primed to store fat.
Yes. Your cells become hypersensitive to insulin. Your body is acting like a completely dried out sponge.
Oh, wow.
If you take a dry sponge and drop it in water, it absorbs everything instantly.
Right.
So if you finish a diet and immediately go back to unmonitored ad libitum eating, like going on vacation and hitting the buffet, your body takes every single excess calorie and immediately locks it away as fat.
To protect against the next famine.
Exactly.
That is terrifying.
It is.
So the exit strategy for a cut requires a highly controlled, gradual increase in calories back up to a new baseline.
Yeah.
And to slowly drip water onto the sponge so it doesn't flood.
Exactly. You ease the body out of the deficit to avoid triggering that hyperstorage response.
Okay, so that's exiting a deficit.
Yeah.
But what happens when you are exiting a surplus?
You mean a bulk?
Right. When someone has been intentionally eating more calories and weight training to build new muscle.
Right. Well, when a bulk ends, what is the most common instinct people have?
Oh, I know this one intimately. The gym bro instinct is, the second the bulk ends, you immediately drop your calories to nothing. You try to instantly shred the fat away to reveal all the new muscle you just built.
And that is biologically the worst thing you could possibly do.
The worst.
When you execute a surplus, the goal is to gain muscle rather than excess adipose tissue. But when you exit that surplus, you cannot dive straight into a calorie deficit.
I want to visualize this for you because the analogy that always sticks with me is pouring wet concrete.
Oh, I like this one.
When you are in a bulk, building new muscle tissue, you are essentially pouring wet concrete. It's brand new, it's forming, it's delicate. If the bulk ends and you immediately start an aggressive cut, it's like trying to take a chisel and polish that concrete while it is still totally wet.
It just ruins it.
The whole thing just crumbles.
Yeah.
You end up losing the exact muscle you just spent 6 months building.
That is a phenomenal analogy, and the cellular biology backs it up completely. Yes. Exiting a surplus requires a stabilization period at maintenance calories. The core purpose of this phase is to allow that newly built muscle mass to solidify metabolically before you ever think about cutting.
Solidify metabolically. Let the concrete dry.
Exactly. Muscle is highly adaptable tissue, but it takes time for the body to accept it as permanent.
Like he needs to get used to it.
Right. When you first build it, your body views it as a luxury. If you immediately throw the body into a starvation state by cutting, your system looks at that new expensive muscle and says, well, we don't have the calories to support this luxury. Break it down for energy.
Back to firing the sales team.
Exactly. But if you spend a couple of months eating at maintenance, you force the central nervous system and the metabolism to accept that new muscle as the new baseline normal. You solidify it.
Man, that requires so much discipline. The patience to just hold steady, not gaining, not losing, just letting the body adjust. It's a completely different mental game.
It is tough psychologically.
But there is one more exit strategy we have to talk about from the module, and it sounds almost like a magic trick. Reverse dieting.
Reverse dieting. It is the most complex protocol we have. It's defined as a slow, incremental increase in calories designed to deliberately rebuild a suppressed metabolic rate.
Okay.
This is usually for people who have chronically undereaten for years or athletes coming off extreme competition preps.
Okay, I have to push back on this because to a lot of listeners, this is going to sound like internet pseudoscience.
Fair enough.
You are telling me that someone whose metabolism is in the gutter can eat more calories to speed their metabolism back up. How does eating more make you burn more? That sounds fake.
I know, it sounds entirely counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But it comes down to how your body allocates energy when it feels safe. Yeah. When you slowly add calories back in, maybe just 50 to 100 calories a week, you aren't giving the body enough excess to store as fat.
Okay, so it's a tiny amount.
Right. Instead, the body uses that slight increase in energy to upregulate systems it previously shut down to save power. What kind of systems?
The biggest one is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or NEAT.
NEAT.
Yes. This is all your subconscious movement. When you're starving, you stop fidgeting, you blink less, you sit heavier, you literally stop using your hands when you talk.
Oh, wow. I've noticed that when I'm super tired.
Right. It's your brain conserving power.
Wow.
So when you reverse diet and add a few calories, your brain feels safe enough to turn that spontaneous movement back on, which naturally burns more calories.
Oh, wow. So you literally just start moving more without even realizing it.
You move more, your digestive system works harder, which takes energy, and your thyroid hormones upregulate.
That's crazy.
You slowly stoke the metabolic fire by feeding it twigs, not throwing a whole log on at once.
Right, because a whole log would smother it.
Exactly. But the catch with this exit strategy is that it takes time. Transitioning out of a reverse diet dictates a multi-month commitment. It is a painstakingly slow process to safely pivot back to maintenance. So what does this all mean? When we zoom out and look at the flexible dieting philosophy, the biological necessity of diet breaks, and the absolute critical importance of these exit strategies,
Right.
it means we have to completely overhaul our expectations of what fitness actually requires.
It really does. It means removing the emotional drama from the process.
Less guilt, more science.
Exactly. It's about replacing reactionary, guilt-driven eating with calculated biological management. You don't punish yourself with a brutal deficit.
Right. You set an optimal limit to protect your hard-earned muscle.
And you don't cheat on your diet in secret.
You took a structured refeed to boost your leptin.
Yes. And you never just abruptly quit a phase. You execute a transition plan.
You trade the moral dogma for actual data. You choose to be strategic rather than just trying to suffer your way to a goal weight.
Suffering isn't a badge of honor here.
Because if there's one thing we've proven today, it's that suffering blindly just leads to a degraded metabolism, a soft finish, and a rapid rebound.
A successful physical transformation has very little to do with how intensely you can restrict yourself. It has everything to do with how intelligently you can manage your body's natural survival responses.
Which leaves me with one final provocative thought for you to chew on today. We've spent this entire time exploring how incredibly adaptive our bodies are at defending our weight.
They are very stubborn.
Storing fat aggressively like a dry sponge after a cut, or requiring months of stabilization just to accept new muscle after a bulk. It really makes you wonder,
Wonder what?
what if the actual secret to lifelong fitness isn't mastering the diet at all? What if the real secret is mastering the psychology of maintenance?
Oh, that is a brilliant question.
Right.
Because maintenance is the one phase nobody ever talks about. It's not glamorous at all. There are no dramatic before and after photos of someone just maintaining their weight.
Right. No one posts a photo saying, hey, look at me, I've looked exactly the same for 6 months. But how much of our fitness journey is ruined simply because we are addicted to the extreme, dramatic phases of bulking and cutting, but we are absolutely terrified of just staying still?
We constantly need progress.
Yeah. What if we spent as much time learning to let our bodies stabilize as we do trying to force them to change?
It flips the entire paradigm. It suggests that the true finish line isn't the day you hit your goal weight.
Oh,
The finish line is the day you finally feel comfortable just living in your body at maintenance without needing to drastically alter it.
the finish line versus the starting line. I love that. Well, I know I'm definitely going to be thinking about that wet concrete stabilization phase the next time I try to rush my own goals.
Let the concrete dry.
Let it try. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep asking those hard questions, keep ditching the dogma for the data, and keep digging deep into your own fitness journey. We'll catch you on the next one.